The most effective way that the left amasses and wields political power is by the control of language. This happens to be my upcoming book, Speechless, Controlling Words, Controlling Minds, available now for pre-order. They wield language as a weapon to control the culture, to control our minds, and control our politics. And this leaves us with really, really awful slogans. You know the sort of woke slogans that I'm talking about. Well, I'm here to give you the definitive tier ranking of the woke slogans. Now here, you hear all these different tiers, the A and the B and the C, and then there's the S tier level. So we've got our own categories here. At the bottom level, we have the sort of people who refer to Caitlyn Jenner as a she, right? This is the go along to get along level of the woke slogans. Then the next level up, we have the you post crying videos on social media.
Why can't women have abortions?
Okay, you are emotionally invested in this point. You're really kind of into it. Then the second highest level, that is the you exclusively shop at black and brown owned businesses level. You are really in it. You are bought into this ideology. You're really willing to put your money where your mouth is. And then finally, there's the top tier. That is the you took your kid to drag queen story hour level, right? That is the absolute worst of the wokest of the wokest of the worst. Before we begin, this video is brought to you by Acre Gold, which we will hear more about in just a minute. First, let's start up the slogans. My body, my choice. My body, my choice is probably the lowest level. I mean, it's talking about this egregious thing, which is killing babies to the tune of 1 million babies a year in this country.
Please kill my baby!
But this is the basic level, because you'll hear this from people who aren't even all that woke. They'll say variations on this, like, men shouldn't have an opinion on abortion. That's a woman's issue. Men, especially men like me who just have no confidence or thoughts of my own, so we don't do that. And from women you hear, my body, my choice. But everybody says it. So that's that bottom level. You're the sort of person who just refers to Caitlyn Jenner as a she. Another inversion. Ew. Okay, next one. Pay your fair share. Your fair share. That would be another. Yeah, I'm afraid that's just refer to Caitlyn Jenner as a she. I know plenty of moderate Republicans, people who, they'll vote for McCain one day and Obama the next day, or whatever, Obama one day and Romney the next day. They're kind of these moderate types who go into this. They'll say, the corporations need to pay their fair share, or the rich people need to pay their fair share. And they haven't really thought about it too much. They're certainly not going to post videos of themselves crying on social media, but they are espousing this sort of frivolous line. I mean, what is your fair share? Right. I mean, right now the rich people in this country pay something like 97% of income taxes. So is your fair share 98%, 99%? No, it's just envy. There's no limit to it. It's just gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. It's not even really about acquiring anything, right? The people who call for this are not really getting a ton. Really, that money is just going to government programs so we can ship it overseas and have drag queen story hour in Syria or so. I don't know exactly what we're doing with the money. That one, lowest tier. Next up. Silence is violence. Okay, now we're moving up a little bit. So silence is violence is a confusing one, because we're told that, for instance, if you are a white person and you state your opinion in some way, that is on a racial issue, that is violence. We're told that if you're a man and you state your opinion on on a sexual issue, that is violence. We're told that if you're a conservative at all and you espouse any kind of conservative view on a college campus, that is violence. Right? We're told that speech is violence. Also, silence is violence. So pretty much anything you do or do not do is violence.
Yay, violence!
This, you're getting a little more. You have definitely cried on social media. You have the videos up. They're not, maybe it's not all the time, but they're there. That would be the next up tier. Okay, what's next? Diversity is our strength. This line. Oh my gosh, this line doesn't make any sense. I mean, just as a matter of sort of basic philosophy, unity is a strength, right? If we're talking about like the transcendentals of being, like unity is good, right? Things have strength. A chain is only as strong as the weakest link, right? You want things to be unified. You want them to have integrity. E pluribus unum, out of many one, so many different types in America, but they all come together. Join or die, this was the French and Indian War cartoon drawn by Benjamin Franklin, right? Coming together in unity. And then the libs come in and they say, no, actually diversity is our strength. Diversity is not, it's not our strength. It's not a strength at all. And this doesn't mean that we can't have lots of different people in the United States and all sorts of different types, but they actually have to lose some of their identity in order, and they need to take on an American identity, and they need to ditch some of the things that make them separate and take on things that will bring them into the American whole. You're not allowed to say that now, but this one is without question the bottom tier. This is the sort of person who calls Caitlyn Jenner a sheep. Fight for 15. So this one you got to be a little more in the weeds. This is not the kind of diversity is our strength, beep boop, pay your fair share, beep beep boop. It's not the sort of thing that has just been so drilled into us all the time that we do. You have to be paying attention to left-wing news outlets to even know what Fight for 15 is. It's this idea that we need a $15 minimum wage or something. You're at least posting crying videos on social media. You may well only shop at Black and Brown. I'm actually going to bump this one up. This is going to be you only shop at Black and Brown owned businesses because you're pretty in the weeds, especially on labor issues, and you know the slogans that probably are not going to become super popular for another 5 or 6 years. So that's good. That one's actually pretty high up there. Next. Follow the science, you dumb sheep. Give me your mask so I give them to my friends. No, now you gotta wear your masks, you dumb sheep.
You are attacking science.
Follow the science. Yeah, that's the bottom tier. Call Bruce Jenner a she. It's really distressing how many of these slogans are at that bottom tier, because it's not that the slogans aren't radical. The idea that we follow the science, like we make a god out of the science, whatever the science is, that we do not understand that all human conflict is ultimately religious. We do not recognize that there is such a thing as philosophy, such a thing as ethics, such a thing as morality. It's all just the science, duh, and it's that meme where it's like the letters are lowercase and capitalized alternately. It's one of the dumbest expressions out there. And yet, it's a radical expression too, because it's so wickedly materialist. But it's very popular. It's the bottom one. You call Bruce Jenner a she. Next up. Black Lives Matter. Yeah, another. No, this is the bottom tier. This is still the bottom tier, I think. No, I'm gonna alter that. This was the bottom tier. Everyone was saying this. Everyone was posting the stupid black square on BLM Day or whatever. That everyone was doing it. But I think that has changed. There was a time when even Republican politicians would say, "I believe Black Lives Matter," and you're just like, "Oh, bro, you don't." It's a Marxist organization. They're avowedly a Marxist organization that seeks to disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family. Their words, not mine. They talk about the cisgender patriarchy, right? It's a ridiculously radical organization. But all the conservatives who didn't want to be called racist would go along and they'd say, no, I believe Black Lives Matter, seriously. That, I think, has stopped, though. I think recently you don't really see that. I think BLM has been exposed. For one, it's been redefined as buy large mansions ever since the head of BLM was caught spending millions of dollars on giant mansions. I think people now know that it's a racket. People know it's an extortion group. And also after BLM burned the country down for about 6 months, I think that soured people on it. So this one, you're gonna have to be a little higher. This is you post crying videos on social media. Here's something new, really new. The price of gold has been all over the place, right? There is a way to buy gold through a company called Acre that will allow you to subscribe to gold bars for as little as $30 a month. Michael, don't lie to me, you say. I wouldn't lie to you. Why do you? Because Michael, gold costs more than $30. Yeah, I know it does, I know. But with Acre, you get to pay each month. Once your gold stash reaches the price of their gold bars, they will discreetly ship Acre Gold to your house. Just recently, Acre introduced a new $100 a month subscription to a 5-gram gold bar. I love Acre. I have Acre Gold, physical Acre Gold. Not on me right now. I don't want to get shaken down, walking down the street, but I've got Acre Gold. I really, really like it. I've enjoyed investing in precious metals, especially when inflation is a concern, which is absolutely true right now, especially when the economy might be looking a little kooky. I find precious metals a great way to hedge your investments. Visit getacregold.com/Knowles. Start investing in physical gold today. Make sure you go to that URL because Acre is giving away a gold bar. To qualify for the giveaway, tweet or post why you should be the recipient and mention @get_Acre. That is getacregold.com/Knowles. Thank you, Acre Gold, for supporting the show. Next up, That's not who we are. Okay, this one's a little higher. This is like, for instance, when we would use enhanced interrogation techniques on terrorists. This is not quite what you'd call torture, but it's, a little tough. It's a little rougher. And some squishes made a big deal about this. And they said, we can't torture the jihadis. That would be wrong. That's not who we are. Well, we're not jihadis. So yeah, they're not who, the torturers. Okay. So they're saying basically the jihadis would do that, or some other regimes would do that, but we don't do that. Why? Because we're not serious about winning wars? Is that the point? That's not who we are. The Geneva Convention says you can.
I don't care if this thing's against the Geneva Conventions. I want it.
The Geneva Convention is designed to protect civilians in war, and it provides certain accommodations to legal combatants in war. If you're a terrorist, by definition, you are not adhering to the Geneva Convention. You're targeting civilians, for instance. So you're not entitled to those protections. And if you were given those protections, you completely undermine the Geneva Convention. So I got off on a tangent. That phrase, "that's not who we are," is a very silly one. And it usually just means, that's not who I want us to be. However, okay, this one is going to be a little higher. This is not just the total basic level. This is, you do post crying videos on social media. You're probably crying when you use that stupid slogan. Next. Defund the police. Yeah, okay, now we're bumping up a little higher here. I mean, this is, you do not shop at a white-owned restaurant or shop. Like, no way. I mean, this is, if you're doing defund the police, I think that most of your shopping is done at night with rocks through windows.
I'm a brick!
Wearing masks, and not for COVID, okay? That's a little more radical. That has not been totally mainstreamed. I mean, you hear it with politicians too, but even the squad types had to back off of this a little bit, and they are by far the most extreme on it. That's going to be that second highest tier. Next up. Love is love. Love is love. Okay, love, which is a truism, I guess, but it's not even, it doesn't convey anything, right? There are different kinds of love. I love my wife, I love my son, and I love my producer. I love them in very different ways. If I were to confuse the way that I love them at some point, I would very likely be committing a crime. There are different kinds of love. But this insistence that we conflate all sorts of love and just make it all about sex or something is creepy and gross and very stupid. However, a lot of people say this. A lot of people. I would say this is not the basic, is it? No, I guess it is. I guess this has been, it's been very mainstreamed. Even now, I mean, this was a line used to justify the radical redefinition of marriage from what it had always meant everywhere in human history to this new radical redefinition that takes sexual difference out of it. But even many Republicans go along with that now. Obviously, Anthony Kennedy, the romantic poet of the Supreme Court, waxed poetic about this. So I think this is the lowest tier. You're the sort of person who calls Bruce she. No justice, no peace. This is a little higher than the Caitlyn Jenner thing. This is this is higher than the crying videos even, because you're not crying, you're not coming from a position of weakness. No justice, no peace. Usually when you say that, you've got a Molotov cocktail in your hand or something like it. During the mostly peaceful protests of 2020, when BLM was terrorizing city after city after city, you heard a lot of no justice, no peace. I mean, that is an explicit call for violence.
The whole world must learn of our peaceful ways. By force.
Usually of the terroristic variety, right? Usually targeting civilians. So that's going to be, you don't shop at Whitey's shop, okay? You are exclusive. You are discriminating against people, definitely on their race, in your economic life. That's going to be the second highest tier. I Can't Breathe. So I Can't Breathe is it's one of the slogans of BLM. BLM has a lot of fraudulent slogans. So Hands Up, Don't Shoot was the big one with Michael Brown. The narrative was that Michael Brown was a gentle giant who was gunned down by a vicious cop and killed execution style while he was on his knees and his hands up, and he said, "Hands up, don't shoot." And none of that was true. He had just robbed a store. He was accosting this cop. He reached for the cop's gun, and finally the cop had to shoot him. And this was affirmed by multiple autopsies and a grand jury and eyewitnesses, and it's just, there's no basis to it. So The slightly more credible one was from the death of George Floyd, where George Floyd said, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe," and it was ostensibly because the officer, Derek Chauvin, was kneeling on his neck. However, George Floyd was saying, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe," video later revealed, before he was on the ground. He actually asked to be taken out of the cop car, which is why he was put on the ground. And so that the narrative kind of fell apart. However, while this might not be the most basic level, it might not just be the Bruce Jenner calling him a she, this is only the next highest level. This is only, you've posted the occasional crying video on social media. And the reason for that is the truth of these incidents, the true complexities of them, just don't get out because the media powers that be refuse to permit this kind of stuff out. So this is going to be the crying videos. Love, not hate, the activist said as he set fire to the courthouse.
It's bringing love. Don't let it get away.
Break its legs!
Love, not hate, the mostly peaceful protester said as he was walking out with a pair of Nike sneakers from the shattered storefront. Love, not hate, screamed the blue-haired Antifa activist at the elderly Trump supporter. Yes, talk about conveying the opposite of what it means. But this is a basic one. This is a totally, if you call Bruce she, you for sure have said love, not hate, earnestly, not ironically. Eat the rich. Okay, this one's a little higher. You actually don't hear this one as much anymore because this eat the rich goes back to a classical Marxism that viewed the world in primarily economic terms and viewed social struggle as a matter of class, whereas the cultural or neo or Western Marxists, they're called all sorts of things, realized that the class thing wasn't as effective, but race and sex and those sorts of identities are actually more effective in creating a sense of solidarity. So it's really like the Bernie types. I mean, you've got to be pretty into this. It resists all of this classification because all of these, the drag queen thing and the black and brown businesses and the social media and Caitlyn Jenner, they're all cultural matters and this is just an economic matter. But if I had to just throw a dart at a dartboard and pick one, I would say it's high enough up. It's probably at the shopping at black and brown businesses only in as much as you are making economic decisions now. You are making public decisions based on your radical ideology. Michael Knowles is literally Hitler. Duh. So this is not the most basic level. This is because I guess some people just haven't heard of my show. I don't know why not, probably because they haven't read my upcoming book. But this is not the highest tier. This is not the elite of the elite, like you're actually taking your kids to Drag Queen Story Hour. I don't even think this is, you exclusively shopped at black and brown owned businesses. I am called literally Hitler, I think multiple times a day. I mean, it's not that out there, folks. And I want you to know, I am not literally Hitler. Okay, if any, I think I would be closer to Mussolini, wouldn't I? The Duce, the Italian. I don't even speak German. Nine! Free the nipple, that is the worst picture you possibly, that's so gross. Free the nipple it's not the Caitlyn Jenner she thing. It is some teenage boys who know a good opportunity when they see one. It's beyond even the posting the crying videos. It's more thought out than that. You're probably only shopping at black and brown businesses. I mean, you're really kind of down the rabbit hole at that point. Freeing the nipple. Why of all the pictures? What a way to end on a bad note. Do we have any more? Oh, it's so gross. I got to end with that image I got to end with the free the nipple image. Come on, guys, don't do this to me. That's it. We have not made it to the S tier. We have not yet seen a slogan that is only of the most woke of the woke of the woke. And do you know why? It's not because those slogans aren't radical. They're very radical slogans. It's because the left has been so effective at popularizing insanely radical stuff that none of it, I bet you could look at every woke slogan out there. None of it is going to be only reserved for the elite of the, because they've popularized it. They have controlled our words. They are controlling our minds. They've left us speechless. A great book that you can pre-order. It makes a great Father's Day present. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, be sure to comment below what you want me to rank or react to next. We'll see you next time.